in the Slack channel, because we are on a limited time and limited budget of units of attention. So it's not that we don't see you. It's not that we don't like you. It's just that those are the rules. You've had 2 weeks and such to register. But that being said, you can still follow along and you can still do everything in class, right? It's just that you won't have your digital backpack and you don't have access to the Slack channel, which is the heart and soul of this class. But there's still so much wonderful information that you can glean from the talks and still hack your own education. Where there's a will, there's a way. All right. I see that we have lots of people in the room and in the listening audience, and definitely in the anonymous mode. Cash Money Kev, I want to test your mic and then you can hand it back off to Alisher to start. I don't think I have any other housekeeping issues other than we do have Innovators Think Tank this Saturday. And you know what? If you're feeling confident and you've already got all of your things connected, you know, signing up for a spot to pitch your idea, get that practice, especially before a hackathon, vital. That is worth the price of admission. There are certain things that are going to make you very successful. One of them is being able to distill down your idea in a very concise little soundbite. And Saturday is a perfect time to practice. So if you have the time and availability and the moxie or chutzpah, as they say, make sure you sign up there. Other than that, the link for the hackathon is definitely in Alisher, Nick, TSI, my timelines. They're all over the place, right? Do not let today at the end of class go by if you are intending to be a part of something bigger than yourself and, play a big role in changing your own stars. You need to sign up. This is one of the things that those spaces are going to go quickly, and especially when people figure out what the prizes are and who some of the judges are. All right. So you want to make sure you do that. I don't know if Whitney, if you're not signed up yet, you should be. Masha, you are a prime candidate also. I see Julie Todd's also. You guys have so many skills. I already know that Jack signed up. I mean, that's almost a gimme. And Starboss is signed up too, you know? You got to be present to win. You got to be willing to void those warranties. So, Cash Money Kev, how are you this morning, my love? Did you sleep much or did you just go around the horn because it was quicker and continue to code? Because I know what you were doing last night behind the scenes, behind that co-host mic, or that, in that case, the host mic. I know you're building, and I'm so proud of you for building. You build the coolest stuff. I'll tell you what, it's awesome. How are you, love?
I'm doing good this morning, Sarah. I went to bed pretty early last night because I was,
What?
excited to get
No
up
Grok
this morning.
4? No
Nope,
Grok 4?
no Grok 4. Honestly, I think Grok is okay, but it's not good for coding yet. Or I just really haven't put much testing into it,
Well, I will
and
just tell you,
I like
you
Claude
can
so much.
actually play with it. If you want Grok 4, it's gonna cost you $300, and it's already last night, already in my AI tutor and in that whole entire arena. So you know what? It's worth the price of admission, folks. And do not, under under any circumstances, let your subscriptions lapse. Make the sacrifices, folks, because I will tell you, I have heard some very just terrible stories where they're like, you know what, I wasn't using it and then I just got rid of it. And then they want to come back into the ecosystem and they see the eye-watering prices and then they want to kick themselves. We do not want you to do that, right? And that is something that I feel very passionate about, especially if you are, in a forward momentum. I am not going to let a speed bump get in your way. All right. So, what were you building last night anyway? Did you add and improve to your domain sniper? Because I'll tell you what, I love that thing.
I did, Sarah, a little bit. Currently, right now, I'm working on getting all the functionality uh, built out, and I have an admin dashboard that I'm adding in, kind of like what we did in one of the last seasons. I think it was season 6 or 5, somewhere around there. And I'm kind of flying, which it's kind of proof of the pudding to put in your words of like the power of these classes, I'm able to move at a little higher speeds compared to some of the newer students, which is a-okay if you're new. You're going to get to these points where you're going to be flying through Supabase, being able to test if you like Cloudflare, Vercel, Railway, better for hosting. You kind of get used to playing around in the sandbox, so to say. And I think it's really cool what I'm doing with Domain Vault, Sarah. And when I get the code in a good enough spot to where it's like a shareable template, I'll share you the GitHub link and make it public for everybody. And if you guys want to make your own domain exchange site, you guys can customize it and do it yourself.
I think that's so cool. I did want to jump in real quick before I hand off the mic to Alisher. I know a lot of you are in Prime days, right? Prime is actually 40% down compared to years past because we do not have any money. Mr. Bezos, you spend it all on your wedding. No, I have some serious issues about some of those things. But that being said, I did want to highlight a very special addition to Prime, and our own Sharon has published a book, and she had help from our beautiful host. And it is one of those things, when you see things tangible. One of the things that, and I always use myself as an example just because I am qualified to do that. And sometimes it's a bad example, sometimes a good example. But I will tell you, I had the privilege of writing or co-authoring, kind of behind the scenes, MacGyvering, a book for an NFT community, a Web3 community. There were 500 people that contributed to this book. And I will tell you, having a real book or real tangible item out in the universe is a glorified calling card that is absolutely irreplaceable in the psyche of humanity, right? If you can go and introduce yourself as someone that has a book, it raises your stature and it solidifies and boosts, bolsters your expertise. And I will tell you, one of our judges, because of that book, was on Amazon. It was also on the on the blockchain. So the use case was really powerful. It gave him a springboard to go onto a main stage, to do a main talk, to become, an introductory level on one of the biggest companies in, our ecosystem, the perma web in general. And now he has a front row center, big time job, controlling an entire ecosystem that we call Bazaar. So it happens, and having that kind of power in your pocket. And guess what? We have Bookify. We have all of the tools at your fingertips. You have the expertise and you have all of these things. And you have someone like Alisher who knows how to put things on Amazon. So I'm just putting that in your ear. Please support your fellow students. If you are dinking around on Prime Day, that is something that you should add to your basket. All right, Alisher, I think I got everything. If I don't, cover me, Goose. Go to town.
Good morning, guys. So I think last night, there was a lot happening last night. We're all building behind the scenes. You guys were building behind the scenes. But we'll go over the basics of what we actually did, which is setting up some of the intercom stuff and Mintlify. And there's like a few tricks you could use, especially for Mintlify, that will just make it so much easier for you. Okay, first, does anybody have any questions before we begin? I highly recommend you guys come up and start asking, how do you do this and intercom before we actually start, because then we have all the time in the world to go over it. And I highly recommend you guys join as a speaker so you can actually speak here in the space.
I have a question. Am I the only one that cannot see the? I apologize for the blip. I'm not seeing that the live stream is active. Sorry.
Oh, let's see. It's live. I do see it. It's
Okay, so it's a
it's on
Sarah
top of the
and
jumbotron.
two other people problem. Refresh, guys, refresh. Okay.
Yeah, refresh, and I'll also check on my laptop. So let's see. Yeah, looks like it's live. So refresh.
Excellent.
Maybe also try the Twitch link, or there's also a YouTube link that I can share here in the jumbotron. But Starboss, I saw you came up as a speaker first. So what is your question while I go get the YouTube link?
I guess maybe I'm interested in like the order of how we're gonna work on things today. So I have the various windows open because there's Mintlify and then there's the thing that begins with the I. Um let me see.
Intercom.
Yeah, intercom. And then we have to connect it all up. I think there's one more element too. So I just want to make sure I have all my windows open. So I
Yeah.
guess maybe I
So
just need a
good
list of
question.
what I should have ready.
Very good question. So the three things you should realistically have ready is intercom. You signed up. You selected their startup program, which gives you that first year for free. The second thing you should have is Mintlify. That's another platform. Mintlify is a docs platform where you can publish documentation pages about your app, about your service, really anything informational related to your app. And then the third thing you should have ready is your website, your landing page, right? So the homework from week 1, 2, and carrying into now is to have your landing page where you describe your service, describe your app, or whatever it is you're doing, whatever it is you're selling. So those are the three main things.
Okay, thank you.
Now, Starbucks, your website. What website are you going to use? Are you going to use WordPress, Next.js, HTML?
I think I'm going to use WordPress, and I'm not sure if I want to use Galaxy Star or Starscape because I actually made a couple of web pages way back in the seasons when we did the web page building. So I have a few sitting there that I think are pretty poised. Probably Galaxy Star Network is probably the one that's most poised since Stripe is connected to it already. So I'll probably work with that one since it seems to be farthest along.
Yeah, that's a good one. WordPress is great. So WordPress makes it easy. WordPress, they have a plugin for this. So they are the easiest option when integrating a lot of these tools. I can actually show it on stream. I have a WordPress open right here. This is my my fully AI generated news website. And here, if you guys are watching the live stream and you want to, I guess, go back in time to this point in the live stream and rewatch it, if you're using WordPress, you want to go to plugins when you're in your WordPress. You want to go to add plugin. And usually you just want to look for the name of the service, right? So in this case, it's Intercom.
I have a
And
quick question.
What's up? Go
Rose.
ahead.
Well, when we were in class, I did register and stuff, and I don't want to make this only about me, but it might help other people. I already have, like, they sent me an email and then their bots connected. They're like, hey, you haven't quite finished setting everything up yet. So I have it set up, but I didn't do it through this way. I did it however we did it in class. So I guess
Okay,
maybe it
so
was through the
for WordPress,
email.
for WordPress,
For intercom, yeah.
yeah. You just got to sign up, right? That's the setup in Intercom. But there's the second part of that setup, which is actually putting the bot on your website, right?
Yes.
And different types of websites have different approaches. So WordPress, the easiest approach is to install a plugin from them. You see, when you look for this plugin, they'll say it'll be by Intercom, and that's how you know it's pretty much official, right? It's by them. And I'm pretty sure all you have to do is install and then log in with the account you already have, the account that's paying. Or in this case, the account that you have a year for free.
Right, that's the one I set up. So will it see it there? Like when I go through on the plugin, it will
It will ask you to sign in.
recognize.
It will ask you to sign into that account most likely. Let's see, I'm looking for it right now. Okay, so when you install this plugin, it goes to Settings, Intercom in your side menu. And here you go. It asks you to sign in with your Intercom account. So you just got to make sure you know which account you're signing in with. It's going to ask you to click a bunch of things in order to use your Intercom account. Just some permissions and whatnot. And here you go. It says Intercom is set up and ready to go. You can now chat with your existing and potential new customers. Now this is fully connected. Now all we're going to need to do is just add a code snippet. That's it. Let's see. Let me see my front page. So my website is a little bit. I'm using the theme we used in season 2, so it's a little bit different. And then I see Kim, you have your hand up as well. So, well, what question do you have?
Hi, Alistair. I'm looking to find Mid. I think it's called Midify. How are you spelling that? Also,
It's Mint, MINT, and then L as in Larry, IFY. It's not Mintify. There's an L in there. It's for lovely, lovely documentation. It's just so you know. Yes, it's very confusing to a lot of people. It has MINT as in Tom, L as in Larry.
got it.
Mintify. Yes.
Thank you so
No
much.
problem.
So I hopped on because I also, I just wanted to make this known to you guys. I set up Bluehost several years ago, so I do have access to the cPanel. I've also moved a couple of my websites over to that panel and just waiting for that to activate. I would love to take advantage of all the support and guidance and just all the tools and resources that you guys are offering, which is awesome. I have to go to work, unfortunately. It's fortunately and unfortunately. So I just wanted to say thank you. Also, I have a meeting with Ross coming up to just make sure I can get through some of these steps that I'm kind of stuck on. But I just wanted to just let you guys know that I would be more active if I didn't have to work during the day. So,
You know what, Kim? You bring up a great point, and your solution is what some other folks have done, where you have such grit and determination. And I hope that everybody connects with Kim. She's a valuable resource beyond words, right? But she points out a very important thing. If it doesn't fit to your schedule, you figure out a way to fit, one-on-one sessions within your schedule or your time frame. And I can guarantee you can finish it a heck of a lot quicker if you are a one-on-one. So you know what, Kim, I hope you have a beautiful day and that work treats you kindly, and just know that your after hours and the stuff that you are really working hard on it's going to profit, it's going to pay off, and people are going to see you shine the way that you were meant to be. So don't never apologize for having to go to work. I know that there are a handful of people here that are actually at work, you slackers, and you're definitely listening in when you shouldn't be. I know by the laughter of who you are. So go on to greatness, love. I do see that Jack also has his hand up
Wait,
while we
one
have
sec before Kim goes. Hey, Kim,
Sure.
I'm behind as well too. So, like, even if you wanted to get together, I don't know when you have time, but I would gladly, we could go over it together since I'm behind as well. So,
I really appreciate that. No, that would be really cool. Let's talk in Slack. That
absolutely,
would be
gotcha.
okay.
Just wanted to
Thanks
catch you
so
before
much.
you left. Sorry.
Okay, take care. Bye bye.
They're so sweet. I love our Pocket family. Okay, Jack, jump in, ask your question
Sorry,
so
Jack.
Alistair doesn't lose his train of thought. Yes.
Uh,
Go,
see you
go,
later,
go, go.
Kim. See you later, Kim. And I think I answered my own question, but so I'm in settings. At first, I had I had the intercom plugin installed on my WordPress site. I had to tell it to add new, even though it showed in the list, which I now have. If I go to intercom settings, it says it's been installed. And I'm at the page where it says intercom has been installed, app ID is blah, blah, blah. So,
Okay, so check this out. If it's been installed, you can go back to intercom where you go to settings, channel, messenger, install. And you can do, I think it's check installation or something like that. I just had to do it on stream. And it'll automatically enable at that point.
gotcha. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think I saw that.
The screen on the stream right now is like the last step where you have to check the installation. And I think you just got to select WordPress in there and then click the button. I think it was like a black button with white text.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you, Alistair.
Excellent. I think we've cleared the table.
Yep. And then
Alistair.
what I suggest is you go to the front page of your website and check if it's on the bottom right. And from there on, that's it. You don't need to do anything on your WordPress to set it up. You can just work with everything from Intercom itself, like the styling of it, the icon, all of that is changed in Intercom. Now, I think another really important thing that Ross pointed out that you guys figured out last night is the usage limits. Because eventually, once your subscription runs out, there's limits. Even some of these other add-ons like SMS, messaging, these other channels that they have, they're all limited, right? They're all like an extra cost on top. Because Intercom just has all of these many connections. So in subscription usage, if I can get there, you want to set up limits, like limits for the Fin chatbot that we spoke about last night. So Fin chatbot is the AI part of Intercom, right? There's the part where actual agents, real people like you, will end up answering customers' messages, and then there's the part where you're not online. You have the AI agent answering the questions. So the AI agent part of Fin is paid. There's I think a certain limit on the yearly subscription that you guys got for free. I think it's six resolutions, right? So you can maybe turn that down. I don't think I'll even be able to show it because it's not loading. I think. Oh, no. For some reason, that specific page doesn't want to load.
Alistair, when I try log into the Fin Intercom, I get a you're not allowed here. 403
Did you sign up for a subscription?
Yes, yeah, it was successful. I did it with Jack.
Well, let's see. I'm gonna go to Fin AI Agent, and I go there just fine. Maybe just go to the Intercom main page, log in, and then go to Fin AI Agent from the side menu.
I had a similar issue, John. Going and accessing Fin through your dashboard is the safe bet. Usually, they want the portal. I don't know why. It just sometimes happens,
It,
and it depends on what browser you're into.
yeah, it could be
Yeah,
like when Fin used to be not part of Intercom, but now that they're all together, you can access it all from their dashboard,
yeah,
their
I
main
think
Intercom
I
dashboard.
think I had to go to Chrome, and I'm using Brave right now. So.
Oh, that could be as well. If
Oh,
you
it's
notice,
Brave.
a lot of
It's
these
Brave.
AI tools have an issue.
It is Brave. Yep, that's your issue. It's the weirdest thing, guys. You know what? We talked about this last night, and I have to get it off my chest. You don't have to be original, right? Use the stuff that plays nice in, you know, the sandbox. And I understand VPNs. I understand Brave. I know why people pick it and everything else. But just have a throwaway laptop. I know that that's a harsh way to say it, but use Chrome, use Google, use the things that are in that playground that do play nice, especially if you're a new dev. You have to kind of get over that whole piece of the puzzle because you're building in public. So that privacy thing is, you know, I have lots of privacy stuff. I have lots of VPNs. I have all sorts of interesting things in the background. But when you're playing in, let's say, a makerspace, it's all in a digital playground. So, don't use proprietary type software and things that don't plug and play. It's like using false Legos. It's not going to work when you try to build the thing that's on the box. All right. So I know that sounds weird, but just trust us because, you know, you're trying to get her done, got her did. Not necessarily shine and say, see how I did it. I MacGyvered it in a way that no one else could possibly understand because then no one else can help you when you need it most. All right, Jack, go ahead.
It's just a quick question. If it's yes, no, is it recommended to use VMware for situations like that?
Use VMware for what specifically?
So take John's computer, for example. He's got Brave set up to automatically, that's his default browser, right? So if he had VMware and had an environment where Brave's not even installed and Google Chrome
No,
is,
you could just use Chrome. You don't need to set up a whole virtual machine.
are there issues with that though?
With using Chrome? No, not necessarily.
No.
Chrome is just a very hungry machine, a very hungry app. That's all.
Yeah. All right. Thanks.
It's like you don't need to virtualize it, right? Because Chrome is pretty universal on every OS, every machine. And if you try to virtualize a Mac, because I know John's on the Mac, it's not gonna work too well. I think you have to use is it VMware? You have to use something else. You have to use Fusion or something like that.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was asking. Because I'm a PC
But no,
user and
that's like a step too far. You don't need that.
yeah. Okay, thanks.
Just a quick jump on that, Jack. One of the things a virtual machine or a closed, fenced in kind of situation, it really depends on your why, folks. We ask you your why. If you're building in public and you have it out and open and it's not behind a gated kind of area, it means that other people can see what you're doing so they can hire you, so they can actually, see your credentials. So you can have, one or the other, or you can have a hybrid. That's something that you have to get your notebook out and really talk to yourself. I know that sounds kind of weird, but what do you want to do? What is it that you're trying to do? If you're trying to white label TSI stuff, which a lot of you do, you buy, My AI Tutor, you have the option to do that, or Pixio, you whip it into, some kind of microservice or SaaS, and then you sell that off, you repackage it, right? And this is, in this case, would be what we call a white label in the real world. And it's not that you're hiding your sources or all that other stuff. It's just that you're allowing other people to help do the heavy lifting. That being said, and you want to cover your tracks, right? So that other people can't see what you're using and maybe reverse engineer what you've done because you want that first mover advantage. That's business, okay? Figure out where your parameters are, right? Figure out what you're going to allow the public to see and what you're not going to see. This is no different than Insta, okay, or any other social media. You guys curate who others see you as. You know, if you want to be polished and present as a awesome business person, you're going to put that filter on, right? And you're going to not show all of the goofy pictures, right? You're going to have the one thing. Now, if you're building in public, you're also curating the experience for anybody that visits. And if you are building off to the side, like I have an R drive with Arweave that is completely private. Everything else is in the public domain because I understand the technology. I love the technology. I want to save things like my mortgage or my, passports and all these wonderful things on the permaweb, but they're not out in the open. No one needs to see your underwear unless you want to show them your underwear because you've got some fancy britches, that's it, right? So just know your why. Go ahead, Alisher.
Yeah, guys, and for intercom, what I suggest you guys do is go into your settings and start setting stuff up like general, changing the name to the name of your business, your service, brand, setting up the icon, changing what that little chat bubble looks like. And then you can go to Fin AI agent from the side menu. You can start setting up the agent. And the way we're going to set it up is we're going to connect it to Mintlify. Right, so Mintlify is our docs platform where you can start publishing different articles, pretty much about your app, how to use your app, how to use your service, how much it costs, any info about it that you can make public. Right, it's really good for SEO, for backlinking, and for training AI. So in my situation, you want to log into your Mintlify, and all you really need to do is get your domain. Right, so they give you a Mintlify domain. You can use that. You can add your own domain. I think last night, I don't remember who it was, whether it was VR or somebody else. You guys added your own domain, and we're able to link that. All of that is for free. Mintlify has a very generous free tier. For me, I think for now I'm going to use this Mintlify domain, and then I could always change it. Now, you add Mintlify by going to Fin AI agent and going to train content. And you pretty much just add it as a website. So sync content from website. And it's just going to start reading the whole website and whatever pages are linked. And that's it. You can see it's using all of these directories and pages that are in this project. And what Mintlify actually does is it creates a GitHub repo with a bunch of markdown files. You guys are going to see it in a minute when we start actually editing them. So syncing, you might actually need to resync this once you're done editing your docs. Any questions about adding a knowledge base to your Fin agent? Because that's like that's the main connection that we're making. That could be something that you missed last night. You could also add content here as in articles as well. You don't necessarily need to use Mintlify, but we're using Mintlify for because then you can take those markdown files anywhere you want. Okay, while it's syncing, what I recommend you do is also go through all of these steps that you have here. Setting up all of these little things that they recommend. Okay, now onto Mintlify. Did you guys get set up with Mintlify and understand how to edit it? Because I think that's really the most important part is being able to actually add pages in here. Because it is a little bit complicated because it's all code. Now, I think for most of us, it's the same exact Mintlify starter that we're all using. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to bring this locally. I'm going to bring this onto my computer because I personally absolutely hate the Mintlify editor. It's not the greatest. I like to do where I just edit the code and then immediately see the result locally. And then when I'm ready, I push it live. So let's check this out. The way we do that is, if you notice, this looks very much like Vercel. And in the overview on your homepage, you'll notice there's a little GitHub logo with your GitHub repo. So we're going to go to that and we're going to bring it locally. We'll open it in GitHub Desktop. So I'm going to click on Code, open with GitHub Desktop, and this will bring it in locally for me. Then I can open it in VS Code and boot it up. This is my favorite way of editing it, because then you're able to use whatever AI editor that you're using: Cursor, Windsurf, Copilot, Gemini Code Assist. Oh my God, there's so many. I have so many plugins in this VS Code. That's so surprising. But anyway, check this out. This comes with a README, and all you need to do is run 2 commands: npm install Mintlify, and then min dev. So let's run those 2 commands. Now, if you're on Mac, this is a solution for Mac. You add sudo, S-U-D-O, in front of the commands you're running. Dan, you have a question?
Yeah, I was with you until like maybe 30 seconds ago because I had to. My GitHub wasn't connected, so it's connected now. I missed where you went to, like after that to get it locally.
You go to Mintlify. You go to the main page of Mintlify when you're logged in, and under domain, you'll see there is a GitHub link.
Okay, awesome, thanks.
And then that GitHub link, you can open it and then go to code and do open with GitHub Desktop. And then from there, you can bring it in to your computer locally and open it in VS Code.
Awesome, thanks.
And then it just takes 2 commands. And you'll have your docs locally. And this is where you can start editing it. This is where it's much easier for you to start getting rid of all the stuff, changing the images. Because if you noticed, here, you can actually upload the images as well. Right? All the images that they have are right here. They have the favicon, the logo. So that's all actually here. You don't necessarily need to use cPanel for images. You don't necessarily need to host these images anywhere. They could be hosted right here in this Mintlify project. Just as long as you don't have a lot of images. Sharon, you have a question?
Yeah, I can put the images in Mintlify. I don't see the screen. I'm sorry, I'm walking the dogs. But do I put it directly in Mintlify?
What,
Is that what you said? The images, yeah.
I highly recommend, if you're gonna edit like purely the code, bring it in Visual Studio Code and edit there.
And then I just put the image in there. Okay, I understand.
Yeah, and then you
Okay.
push it as you would push to a regular GitHub repo.
Yep. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, because check this out, they have like the same syntax as regular code. So you don't necessarily need to do anything too fancy. If you have only a few images, it's good. I think if you have hundreds of images, then you should probably look into a solution where you host those images somewhere else, like cPanel, like S3, or whatnot. But for our purposes, it's good. This is local, as you can see. And now I can start editing it. And now my favorite way to edit things is, of course, to first take it to Beam. You can also use Machine, but I think Beam, much easier to import the entire repo now that I have all the files for it. Let me go to Beam. What do you guys think? Should I use Grok 4? I haven't tried it yet.
Can I tell you something? This is a secret. I hope nobody
Terrible?
don't tell on me. Yeah, it's terrible. I'm sorry.
Oh man, that's so unfortunate. Let's see. XAI.
I mean, it can't be any worse than the version before, right? I mean, I've used it a few times. I mean, I don't know. Seems to be okay so far.
So what I'm going to try to do is it seems to be better at tool calling. I think Grok is a good model for agents, right? I just don't know about pricing because it's very expensive. It's almost as expensive as Anthropic and OpenAI. I'm going to test that, but from what I can tell, coding, it messed up. I had to invite other AIs to fix it. Maybe it was a me problem. Who knows?
All right, well, this is a pretty simple task. So I think what I'm going to use is Gemini 2.5 Flash first. Or 2.5 Pro. 2.5 Pro is a little slow for me. But yeah, okay. Now that I have this locally, I can bring in all the files. Alternatively, if you're using the machine, you can just give it the link to your GitHub in the machine, because then it'll probably be able to read it and actually browse. If you have your GitHub MCP connected in the machine, it'll probably even pull it in. But all I'm going to say is, here are my docs. I'm using Midlify. I want to edit them. So let's see what we have here. I don't really know what I want to do with these yet. So, I want to get rid of this guides and API references. I don't think I need that. Although, this is a really nice integration. So I'm just going to start pretty much just giving that to the AI. Let's get rid of the two tabs on top. Guides and API references. I'm going to give it a few changes. We'll try to one-shot it. Jack, you have a question?
Yeah, just real quick. In my Beam in developer, I don't have some of those models that you have, so Gemini is not showing up.
Yeah, that's a good observation. So click on the models. All the way on the bottom, you'll see there's this little models button.
Yep.
And this is where you can add them, and what's most importantly, refresh it. So click this refresh button, and you'll get the new ones.
The models refresh button.
Yeah. So first, yeah, it's the blue model, but it says models with a little refresh icon.
So I got an error message that says Gemini forbidden generate. It's missing an API key.
Are you Beam?
Yeah.
Okay. So it could be your cache, but I think maybe what's more likely is if you put something here, see if you can delete it, like in the Gemini API key. Otherwise, try to select a different Gemini model and try it out, because there's some of these models might not be real anymore, because Gemini deprecates models pretty fast, especially like the ones that say preview might not be functional.
Yeah, I'm getting an error message. I don't get those models listed. They're not showing up. So I don't want to hold everybody up. We'll figure it out.
You don't necessarily need to use Gemini. This docs project is very small. You can use any model. I just went to Gemini because that's the one I was using before. I know it's working right now for me. It might not be working. We'll try it out if it's not working for you.
Yeah, I'll use Claude or something.
You can
Um,
also go to Open Router and select one of the models from Open Router. It'll probably have Gemini as well.
for I don't know, something's going on here. I don't have it, but that's all right. And then did you already ingest Mitlify?
Yeah,
If-
so I just grabbed it from the folder in my desktop and dragged it into the chat.
Gotcha.
And I have
Okay, thank
all
you.
these files at the bottom.
Yep. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and I'm just going to go down the list and I'm going to give it the changes I want to make. Now, let's see what else we have. This is what I like to do. I like to look at it visually. Usually I'd have it like side by side. So let's see if I can do that. Not the greatest. I think I want this to be a little bit more like this. Yeah. Now, let's see what we can get rid of here. Let's say in the get started.
Is that beam 3 or beam alpha? Beam 3 alpha or beam 2?
Yeah, it's beam 3. You want to always go for the newest because you'll most likely have the newest models.
And am I able to log into my Midify, but it's still not letting me log into Fin Intercom?
Yeah, I don't really know what to suggest there. Try to maybe you logged in with Google, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah, I
It could
deleted all the
just be
history
an
and the
intercom issue.
cache. What's that?
It could just be an intercom issue because I wasn't able to go to certain pages.
Okay, well, I'll keep on trying.
Elisha, Cassandra does have a question. If you can stop for a sec. Go ahead, Cassie.
Yeah, I'm in the VS code from where we were yesterday, and it's not bringing me back to the area that we were at. I tried to refresh it. Do you know how to get back to where we were? I mean, I still have Copilot on the right. Does it not matter what I'm seeing on the middle?
No, definitely. Oh, in the middle, no. It matters what you see in the sidebar. Do you see all your files?
Yeah, I mean, it still has our conversation from 3 files changed from yesterday.
But do you see your files on the left?
Yes, docs, API,
Yeah,
images,
you're all
logo.
good.
Okay,
You're all
and then for the logo, you had said to just give it an SVG and replace it for the
Yeah.
dark and light. Do you still suggest that, or should I just upload my logos and
Yeah,
say replace this?
The easiest thing to do when it comes to like replacing the logo is to go to where the
SVG.
logo is in Mitlify and just replace these files and name them the exact same thing. So dark.svg and light.svg. And if you want it to be like almost 1-to-1, you might even check the size and the aspect ratio of these and edit them that way too. But yeah, that's the easiest way. You don't even need AI for that. You just go and get your logo, drop it in here, name it the exact same thing.
Okay, I'll try that right now. Thank you.
That's like the classic switch.
Well, dark and light, what's the difference between dark and light?
You can click on them, you'll see. The
I have
text in one, is
Oh.
probably dark. The text in the other is probably light. To change like the mode of the feed, you see there's a little button here
Yeah.
that's light mode, dark mode.
Well, that's interesting. I've never made a dark mode logo, so. Okay. I'll just upload it.
Oh, you know what?
Cassandra, when you
this is
think
what I
about
recommend. This is what I recommend. If you want to take your logo and make it dark mode, go to Pixio, go to GPT-4o image generator, go to edit, upload your logo, and then say invert the colors or change this to colors that would adhere to dark mode.
Mm-hmm. And
It'll
which
do
model?
really well. The model is GPT-4o image.
But like, would it be edit image or
Yeah.
craft? Which?
Edit.
Okay.
just so you know, Cassie, the reason why a dark mode is kind of, oops, sorry, there you got the back mic. The reason why it is more advantageous for a logo to look nice in dark mode is because 75% of the phones and mobile desktops,
Are
especially
dark.
with,
Yeah. No, I
yeah.
get that.
And so if you don't want, it's almost the equivalent of when you put up an image on, let's say, to put it on a t-shirt and you
Yeah.
see that weird wonky frame that you don't want, because yeah, that's the reason why.
Yep. Totally get it. So change this into dark mode image. I'm going to use my JPEG and then, okay. Sounds good. Thanks. I'll try that.
Excellent, Smithers. Okay, continue, Alisher. We are in the tail end, the last 10 minutes of class. And so, you know what? Cross the finish line, folks. Cross the finish line.
One quick thing too before you guys end, we didn't finish out the comments on the usage for intercom and what we're supposed to do with that.
Yeah, unfortunately, I can't access that page right now for some reason. Something with intercom on their website. I think certain parts of
I
their website are
couldn't do
down.
it either, so that's something that they're having issue with. And okay, thank you.
Yep, it is an intercom problem. I can verify that. Did you want to know why you want an intercom on your landing page? Is that the question that you were asking?
No, not at all. I just
Okay, good.
just know
I
that
was
we're
trying to make sure
inter-
I didn't misunderstand it.
Yeah, I
Okay.
just know we're trying to intercept the conversation so that you're not going to use up your tokens. And you can set up a forward to email. So I'm just going to forward all the messages to my email and make sure I create a touch point if anybody comments at this point and just make it easy without having to go and screw with the usage. So
Yep, that's perfect. And make sure, folks, you do download the app, right? You want it on your phone so that you know what your agent is talking to your customers about. Okay, when you have these agents that are interacting, you kind of want to make sure you're in the loop, especially if they get past a certain point. All right. I think we got everything. And folks, just be reminded, we love all of the visitors. Most of you are familiar faces. The speaker box is for registered students so that we can get done quicker and get her done, get her did. Make sure that you can go on to the rest of your day. All right, Alisher, continue on, my love.
Hey guys, so here I have my changes. These are the changes I want to make. I just described them, gave it like a numbered list. And we're going to use this output from AI Tutor. And we're actually just going to take it to either Copilot, Cursor, or Windsurf. Because I noticed I wasn't using AI Tutor as like a layer of interpretation before, and it was kind of meh. It wasn't the greatest. It had a lot of issues completing tasks. So we'll take this output, and because I'm lazy, I'm not going to go and through every file, editing every file. I'll just give it to an agent and let an agent edit it. And if you're using something like a GitHub MCP and you're using Machine, it'll probably edit them automatically for you. Because I think last night you guys used the Machine to add intercom and deploy. You could do the same thing with Minlify if you connect GitHub. Any questions so far, guys, while I'm waiting for Gemini to respond? Go ahead, Dan.
Yeah, just on the usage. That's one of the things that I didn't get to last night as well. I believe it's about 2 hours in, just for reference. I'm pretty sure. But as far as the usage, yeah. So as far as that, like, I am still trying to figure out like that, like the like if I were to start using it today and I can't change the usage, do I want to wait on that? Or if like Cassandra was mentioning, if I have it go to emails or something else like that? I'm just curious what I should do now as somebody who doesn't really understand it fully, but wants to start playing with it.
Think about it realistically. How many people are you going to get talking to it?
Probably not very many at this point. Probably like 3.
Then you really don't need to worry about usage too much right now. Plus, you're on the free tier. Like you have this free for 1 year. So you can use it as much as you can. But in usage, once you get to usage, hopefully they'll repair within the next few days. You should set, I think it was the part where it counts as like a resolution, as a resolve. You should set that to 6. I think was the recommendation.
Yeah, that's what
That
I
was the
remember. Yep.
recommendation last night. Yes, and make sure, folks, once again, I cannot stress this enough. Make sure you're watching things on that day 14, because if you did not follow the links that were in the Slack channel, you're going to start getting charged and it's going to hurt. Okay. The reason why you're in class is so you can get that year for free. You are part of the umbrella of 11 Labs. That only comes through, your digital backpack of awesome swag behind the scenes. Okay. So, sometimes you're clicking on links and you are saying, oh, I found the company that Alisher was just saying. If it's not a link that's in Slack, do not do it, because you're going to pay a penalty, the dumb cost, or the gotta learn cost, the cost of learning. Okay. So don't do that. Jack, you have your hand up. Did you have a question, my love?
I do. If I want to go back and watch the live stream from last night, where do I do that?
Go into my even Twitter feed. I know I reposted it. Anytime we have a live feed, you always bookmark it, right? This is a thing I learned from Starboss, right? You're always going to bookmark it. It will be, in the Slack channel, and the boys have a full, site where you can access everything all at one time. But if you are just on Twitter and you want to figure out where it is, always bookmark your favorite stuff. It just
Also,
makes it easier.
Jack, check this out. The best place is you see on top of the Jumbotron, the last link is to a YouTube live. If you go to that channel, we stream to YouTube, and all of them will be like in the live section of YouTube, all the previous ones. That would be like the best quality. YouTube, has like the best transcoding.
Gotcha.
Alisher,
I think also from YouTube, if you get that link and you pop it into my AI tutor, it gives you the best quality of transcripts, which is very, very useful, right? If you are a neurodivergent in any way, shape, or form, having multiple ways to get that information is really important. And Twitter does not have that ability. You could access it via Spaces dashboard. Our friend Andrew has all of our, spaces. But if you take YouTube, they have it deliberately set up for people, with different kinds of disability abilities, etc. But that transcript, if you have it, is so invaluable, because you can't process absolutely everything. And when you see it on a page, you can write it in the margins. I know Starbucks, go ahead, just jump in.
Yeah, real quick. You can also just, besides the bubble on top, down in the comment section, you can just like and retweet, and then you'll have access to it in your own feed if you don't have Prime, because some people don't have, like the premium service, so they don't get to bookmark. So if you aren't able to bookmark, just retweet it, or send it to yourself via message. And then that way you always have it in a message to yourself. So these are some of the strategies I use to try to be able to have all the resources readily available. And it's a little bit easier to track. There's, other than bookmarks, you have to, you have to figure out an alternative way. So sending it directly to yourself, you would have your own archive.
Awesome. Thank you. That was great advice.
Also, little hint, make sure that you kind of take note, whether it's a Notions doc or your Obsidian or sticky note, whatever your capture data stuff is. Give yourself, your future self, be a good ancestor, folks. Give your future self a heads up about what the content is, because we go through 6 weeks, right, of seasons. Sometimes they're 8 weeks, and each day leads us down the primrose path, right? So if you can just give yourself a couple keywords. Today we're doing Mintlify, and we're understanding intercom, we're connecting in Vercel, or we're using our VS code, and give yourself those markers. And if you put them in your transcript when it comes back and you make those bold, AI will immediately scan all of your stuff and say, now I know exactly what I need to find, and it's at your fingertips. You're not wasting time, because that's the kiss of death for all of us, is that you can't find something and then you are looking for it and then you find something else that's very interesting and your whole day is shot, right? Where we've all been there. So you don't want to, you want to limit the ability to see rabbit holes and just get, straight and narrow. So, okay, go ahead, or go ahead, Alisher, sorry.
Yeah, guys, and here I'm in Copilot, and I just pretty much took whatever AI tutor gave me and threw it in Copilot. So we can start deleting stuff, editing stuff. Of course, it's best if you go and do it yourself, but for the sake of time, if you're, crunching, you can use Copilot. I know there's also Gemini Code Assist, another extremely useful client. We can try it out as well. Copilot is not doing me justice right now. Something is down about Copilot. So let's go.
It's a full moon. It's a full moon, solar flare, massive, just chalk it up. This is why exactly what Alisher's doing. He's like, look, Copilot's down, this is down, check, 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 check. What do I have left in my Swiss Army knife to continue on? This is a very important skill, especially for hackathons, because I guarantee something's not going to work. So just take note. And also, John put his hand up. Alisher.
What's up, John?
Thanks everybody thank you all for doing what you're doing. And what should I do, or what should we all do who are having trouble with intercom moving forward, just to get ready for Monday?
You're not gonna have trouble like adding it to your website. That can be done pretty easily. That's just an embed at the end of the day. So you should be fine in terms of Monday. Like all the pages for branding, setting up branding do work. If it's just Finn, I mean, you just gotta go and check on it again, see if it works.
Got it. Thank you.
Oh, I've never used Code Assist, so.
Hey, Alisher, just there was one other question I want to ask. So the issue you were having with intercom before, it looks like it's embedded on my WordPress site. When I click on it, it opens a window, but I just got that donut spinning, like it's not loading. Is that because of intercom?
It could be. I mean, it could be, right? I don't really like. I don't exactly know.
Okay.
So it could be. See if Gemini can make these changes.
Folks, one of the other things that is really important, and I'm adding this as we're waiting, right? Time filler, hopefully a golden nugget. Understanding what you can and can't do in what I say analog mode, right? There are going to come a time where certain apps or certain APIs are not going to work. How do you pivot? And that is a very important soft skill that you're going to have to learn as a solopreneur. Having a list or understanding what is possible, what you can't do, what you can do. There are certain things like, let's say, the aesthetic of your website. Right now, last night, we went through all of the things. What's the first thing that you need? You need a web page. You need somewhere for people to visit so that they can, have and find your microservice. Number one. What's the brand? What's the vibe? What's the experience? What's the story that you're going to tell? When someone visits that front site, are they going to be able to instantly know what it's about, right? Is it going to convey and be the voice when you're not there, right? If intercept's down and you're not able to interact with your customer or your client, if your page is silent, does it still speak volumes? That's a very important thing. That's in life. That's in business, right? So first and foremost, you need that. You're going to need that for the hackathon. You need a way to connect. Let's say something's not working, you're breaking your flow state. Well, what are the piddly tasks that you have to do? You still need your KYC for Stripe, or you still need, to make sure that you're checking in on all your tokens and being a nanny to all of your little AI minions. All of these different tasks line up. Maybe you can't do anything on the computer. Maybe you just have to go old school and start sending your own text messages, texting your client base, checking in with them, giving them, the thoughts that they need to have. Or maybe sometimes it's just taking that notebook, going into the hammock and writing a whole bunch of ideas that you have for maybe blog posts that you want to put together, maybe newsletter articles, or things that the computer is not going to help you with. Those proof of human things that only you can do. The minute that you decide that you're going to waste the time, it's really hard to get back on track. But if you can stay in the moment and stay in the general overall vicinity of the things that you have to get done, you're not going to be as frustrated, because there are people, and I'll give you, for instance, what was it that I think it was Claude that went down, and folks were losing their ever loving mind, completely just gone, pounding keys, hoping to get a different result, thinking, I just want this input to go in. I just want this input to go down. And maybe I can sneak in and head a, no, you can't, right? It's mashing all of the buttons on the elevator door. And yes, you're going to have to go to every freaking, level, whether you like it or not. So, enjoy the ride. Make sure you're singing a little happy tune. Maybe introduce yourself to some random people that are stuck in the elevator with you. All of these things are moving you, inching you towards your final goal or your why, right? Don't allow yourself to be stuck, because once you stop, this is physics, guys. This is not me making it up. Once you stop, that forward momentum has a glitch in the matrix there, and it's going to take you a whole heck of a lot more energy to stop, to get going from a dead stop than from a creeping stop. Here in Michigan, we don't fully stop at the stoplight. We just kind of creep, and then, because we don't want to wreck our engines and all this other stuff, right? So just marinate on that too. John, you might have a bad day today. If Intercept goes down, we might have a bad day today, but you have the control to change the stars. You have the control to whether it's going to allow you to have a bad day or not. If something doesn't work, you're like, Kuna Matata, I'm going to react this way. I really can't control any of this crap. I'm going to go this way because this is the one thing that I can do. Right. All right. So, Cassie, you have a question real quick?
Yeah, real quick. So I uploaded the 2 logos that I switched to an SVG, and it's just giving me a circle with LB in the middle of it. It didn't give my actual logos. Just created its own circle with the initials LB in it. Weird.
Okay, well, yeah, can't really go into using Pixio in here, but maybe try changing, try uploading that in SVG into into the image, right? As when you edit. So maybe try PNG and try to prompt it a little bit more. Say keep logo exactly as is, just change the color. So
Okay,
something like that.
okay, then. I'll
Right?
just
You just
play with
gotta
the
slow down with
Okay.
it. Or you can go to Canva, and maybe in Canva there's just like an invert where you invert it all to white. Because I know your logo is black text, so you just got to change that black text to white text if you want it to be for dark mode.
Also, Cassie, just for everybody in the classroom, when you're creating a logo, if it's logo day, just like if you have leg day or arm day, you're going to do logo day. Make sure your logo, you have it in a couple different sizes. You have it in black and white. If you have a color logo, in its natural wild state, make sure it's in a black and white state. Like what Cassie's doing, have it in, invert it so that if you have a white background, also have a black background. If you have an entire stable of all of the different ways that you can use your logo, your branding, that is super smart, because you never know, a new tool can come along that could animate that. They could do all sorts of things, but having them at the ready, because if you don't, you're going to zhuzh it and you're going to waste all day, and it's going to hurt your heart. Your cells are going to cry out. They're going to be pissed off because they can't get the thing that they need done done. And it's just really frustrating. So if you can batch that task and just say, you know what, this is the thing I have to work on. And since I'm parking my butt in the chair, I'm going to challenge myself to not just create the one thing to get this task box done. I'm going to be a good ancestor and help my future self with all of the different things that you're going to need. That would include a banner. That would include an icon for like an Instagram or a Twitter. They have certain parameters. So you have like a whole little lookbook of all of the different things. It can also include a logo that you want to put on a piece of swag or a mission badge, which we have had to do. These things all, once you're doing it once, you always think, how am I going to use this content at least 7 different ways? That is your side hustle. So if you're already investing the time, energy, units of attention, maximize it, because that's, the way you should be doing it anyway. You should be batching your tasks and thinking like an assembly line. It's kind of a second nature here in Detroit. That's the way we do things. But Starbucks, go ahead.
Thank you. Real quick, I have a couple of like kind of cryptic notes from yesterday, and I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything. So just to understand, Intercom Fin is when Intercom has their game back up and their website is up and running. I'm just going to give them some time to figure themselves out. But Fin is embedded inside of Intercom, right? And then you're going to go in and rename one of the services in there for customer service. I remember that from last night. I'm not going to say much more than that, but we have to renew it in 1 year. The 1 year free subscription is over. We have to remember that there's a renewal date. So you want to put a reminder in your calendar so you don't automatically get charged. So somewhere in there, I have 11 Labs written down below that. I also have parent code. And I also have Cloudflare. So am I getting too far ahead or behind? I just want to make sure, because I have these notes here. And so I'm just trying to make sure the reason why I have them written down.
11 Labs is how you got your Intercom. They are the ones that gifted you the year, right? So you can nix that off the list, although you should all know about 11 Labs and the awesome that they do. Okay.
Thank you, 11 Labs.
Thank you, 11 Labs.
Thank you, 11 Labs and Tech in Schools. Yes, thank you. Okay, that's probably why I had it down there. I'm like, okay, got it. Okay.
Well, anytime that's awesome when you can hat tip somebody, or if you enjoy using their tool, that's like the biggest compliment and the things that they need the most,
Maybe
that
go
kind
give
of
them a review.
exactly.
Yeah.
Cloudflare you are going to need. Alisher can answer the rest of the questions, but I know that one right off the bat. So
okay,
go ahead, Alisher.
Yeah, I mean, those are all the things you should be aware of, right? So when to cancel it, if you're going to continue, when to make sure that you know how much it's charging you for the second year. But at the end of the day, that's all kind of on you. So you got to remember that.
Got that part. And I already have it in my calendar. I guess maybe I was just sort of like reiterating or making sure people who maybe weren't here last night, they got that piece. And what about Cloudflare, and what is this parent code?
I don't know. Not too sure.
Okay.
What do you mean by that?
All right. I'll just throw them away. I don't know. I have them down here in my notes from last night. It's okay. No worries. Thank you.
I know what it is. I figured it out. I had to kind of put in my thinking hat. That is the perma code, I think, is what we had opened it up. That's probably what I think it is. That sounds like it. Or premium code. I think the premium source code is what you were thinking, and that we did open up that tab on week 2 with Mintafly. So if I was hazarding a guess, I think that's probably your hieroglyphics there, friend.
Yeah, because I didn't say it, but Mintlify was right underneath that
Yeah,
code.
that's exactly. I had to think about it. I was
okay.
looking at all of
It
my
was in
open
that
tabs.
order. Okay.
Yes,
All
I
right.
do
It was in
believe
that
that's
order.
it. Yep,
Okay.
premium source code, which we can talk about later.
Okay, no worries. All right, I just want to make sure I didn't
Sure.
miss anything imperative for today. Thank you.
You're awesome. Go ahead, Alisher.
Yeah, you don't really need premium source code. I think that's from the CRM build that you guys did before, and from some of the
Yeah,
seasons.
Ross had mentioned it. Yep.
But for us, we don't need that. Mintlify gives you a starter project.
Excellent.
And let's see. So looks like Copilot is working. Looks like it did all those changes. If you guys use any coding agent, just make sure it's in agent mode, right? It's actually making those changes. And hopefully this works. Let's see. Yeah, check this out. It has my 2 links. It has the pages that I want. And now I just have to start customizing these pages to what I want to make them. And I think that's probably your guys' homework. And the way you customize these, well, if you want to keep going in an agent, you could. So for example, introduction, I could say, expand the introduction section. Introduction section, talk about pricing and what the app does, whatever app service you're making, right? For me, I'll just say make it up as a placeholder. Now you can keep going with these changes. You can keep taking this output and just giving it to Copilot. And this is Markdown. There's a lot of things you can do in Markdown. You can do code snippets in Markdown. You can do icons. I think this uses React icons. You can do all sorts of different tables. So Markdown, a lot of potential, very easy to code with. You know, it's pretty much just, you know, very straightforward, almost like basic English. There is no like coding mumbo jumbo to it. It's like a doc. And there you go. Looks like it updated my index page. Let's check it out. And there you go.
Magic. Pure magic.
Now let's see. We have this logo, Mint Starter Kit. Let's see if we can change it. See what we can do here. I think it might be here in docs. Yeah, so there's light.svg and dark.svg. I guess they don't necessarily have to be SVGs. They could be a PNG. So let's see if I have a logo somewhere that I can use here. Oh, I do have a little square logo, so I think I'll use that. All I really have to do is just drop it in here where the logo is. And let's see. I'm going to say edit the logo to use my logo called Alisher logo.png. And let's see if it understands that. Probably try to find it. That's a benefit of an agent, right? It actually scans the code.
Folks, just to jump in, another thing. Okay, here's the deal. If it's your private business and this is your personal website, logos can take a long time because they're very intensely personal. If you're building a microservice, it's just business, folks. Do not care about outsourcing it to an AI because you are trying to have a minimal viable product quickly. A lot of times AI can suss out the marrow, the real nugget of what you're trying to build and create an image for you. You can zhuzh it. I'll give you 2 examples. Cassandra and Starboss have very specific logos that are very specifically tied to them. There's a lot of meaning involved. There's a style, there's an aesthetic. It is very personal. Just like with Serendipitous, it has to look like my own hand-drawn cartoons. Why? Because I drew those on a napkin way back and when GoDaddy was brand new in 1999. And there is an ongoing joke, there's a nostalgia, whatever, fill in the blank. However, for this, No, you have to be ruthless. You can be generous with everything else that you have, your tools and everything. No, you have to be ruthless with how you spend your time. And in this case, allowing AI to do the heavy lifting is important. This logo is not going to matter to you. It just needs to matter to your end consumer. They need to see it, want it, and snap it up. That's the point. So erase the emotion around it and don't try to over perfect things. This is a very simple thing. Remember the first day that we spoke? It was Independence Day. We were talking about Mel Gibson and The Patriot. Aim small and you will miss small, right? So just keep that in mind. No, you don't need to spend a whole day working on your logo, but if it's a SaaS or a major business, yeah, then some thought and some creativity has to go into it. Microservice, nah, get her done, got her dead.
Yeah, guys, it's super easy. If you want to save time, use one of these coding agents. Use Machine. Machine will edit and commit straight to GitHub for you. Use Copilot. Use Cursor. This is pretty easy in terms of code. For example, like things like title here. Those are all the things you can ask it to edit. It'll just go in and edit every mention of title. But you guys can see my logo is here. I was able to change the colors. It's now blue instead of green. You can keep going with these changes, right? And once you're done, if you're working locally, you want to use GitHub Desktop and you want to push these changes, right? So I'm going to do updated docs. I'm going to push these, commit 11 files. And once you commit, it'll automatically rebuild in Mintlify. So if I go back to my dashboard in Mintlify, there it is. I'll give this a refresh. And here's activity history. It says I pushed, it's updating. So we'll just give it a minute. It'll rebuild. Very similar to Vercel, to any Next.js project you work in. As soon as you push it to GitHub, an update is triggered. And that's it. Once this is live, I can just keep editing my docs, and whenever I'm ready to make them live and public, I'll push it to GitHub. You guys see this opens all these other pages, except now these are my websites instead of the Mintlify websites. There's some other things here you can change. For example, this support button. You can get rid of it. You don't need to have it. It's not necessary. Or you can make it lead to your email. This dashboard, you can get rid of it as well. Or this could be go to your landing page where you're selling your service. And there's some other things here like this powered by Mintlify, social links. These are all the things you can start editing. Now, guys, any questions so far before we wrap up? Because this could be your flow, right? Instead of editing in Mintlify, maybe you're editing locally and then pushing to Mintlify. I'm not seeing any hands, so if you guys have a question, just feel free to DM me. We're all in Slack. Feel free to drop your message in Slack. And yeah, guys, the homework is to start filling out your Mintlify. Because once your Mintlify is filled out, there's some knowledge base that your Fin agent will have. So it'll be able to answer. So things like pricing, information about your app, they could all go in Mintlify, since that's where the AI agent learns from. Yeah, homework, edit your Mintlify. Sarah, Cash Money, do you guys have any closing notes? And then I'll end the space.
I'll go first, and then Cash Money Cap can close this out with you. First and foremost, hackathon is the 14th through the 21st, right? Do yourself a favor. Park your butt in the chair, get her done, got her did, get it off your table. so that you can participate in something that is going to enrich your life. It's going to be a struggle, it's going to be hard, but it will enrich your life. And there is some massive stuff up for grabs, right? If you sign up today, you are definitely in the queue, and there is a cap because the prizes are that big, and it's a cash prize. Big cash prize that literally could be the seed startup that you need for your business. First and foremost, you need to do that. So if you can work and get everything in you know, in order, next week's class is right in the middle of the hackathon. Technically, if you finish your homework right now, you will have all of the things that you need to be very, very successful in the hackathon. You will have the understanding of how to build a page, how to have a way to collect money, how to create an app, how to do all of the little things that you need to do to at least have a good showing, right? And each of you are going to knock the ball out of the park. I know it. But be aware that it's going to take some very strong discipline, right, in order to do that. Yes, you can have a team. You need to sign up. So I'm putting that out there in theory, just to show you what I mean, sort of in the voice. Wednesday night's classes, the 30th is always the last class. It will be of this month. That is our show and tell. So you should have a viable finished product by the 23rd, and you're just doing the little, piddly things and maybe, fixing whatever. But by the 16th, it should already have all of its legs on and at least moves and does the thing, right? So I highly recommend this. We have some really amazing judges also. These are people that you want to get to know, right? This is how you cross-pollinate and you build your network. And that we've already told you, collaboration is the next currency. And in this case, every single person that participates will get something cool, right? It's not like a traditional hackathon where you just get the sticker and the plushie, right? There's more to it. And these are things that, we talked about having a stable full of tools and what you bringing to the table, that toolbox, all of these things. Some of the things like LK had mentioned last night, why do I need this? This feels like digital flack. I don't need it. It's cluttering up my life. You have no idea what you're going to build later on down the road. And being an OG and having those tokens already stacked up and at the ready means that you have a first mover advantage, an FMA, as Ross had mentioned last night, right? It means that you are not expending in a way that your competitor has to. Right now, your competitor has to pay $300 a month for Grok or higher. You can add up all of your subscriptions. You're under the umbrella of Tech in Schools, so you're not paying that kind of money. That means that your resources can go to other things to elevate your brand, right? This is always an opportunity cost and a trade-off. So those are the notes that I have. If you have questions, comments, concerns, you know how to tap on the glass and find us. Definitely in the Slack channel, which is where all of the stuff lives. And for all of the guests that are in the room today who are not taking the class, guess what? You are absolutely 100% allowed to, register for this hackathon. And it's, I can't tell you all of the details until it's official, but when you see the dollar amounts, your eyes are going to bug out of your head. I know a lot of you are really struggling, and this could literally change your life. This is cash. It's not just tokens. There's cash, there's tokens, there's hardware, real, physical things. So if you're lacking certain things, this is an opportunity to just put it all online, right? You don't know what you don't know, but you have to avoid the warranties and own the journey. So hackathons are a really important thing. You're going to learn more about yourself than you ever imagined and what you're capable of and what we see that you're capable of. So hopefully you'll test that. Definitely keep an eye out. Give us and extend us some grace because we're throwing together a hackathon in less than 2 weeks. That is unheard of, but it is very possible with some very dedicated folks behind the scenes that are like, dude, you're going to give us that much money? Heck yeah, we are totally going to make a hackathon and it's going to be awesome. And then other people come out of the woodwork and they're like, you're doing this? Yeah. well, I think that would be fun. I'm going to show up and here, I'm going to sweeten the pot. And I cannot believe what Ross, Nick, and Alisher have done. I sat back and I have done so many hackathons, and this is just going to be fun, folks. It is a fun thing in the middle of the summer. And oh my gosh, it's so awesome. And I don't do a lot of the, hype. I don't do all of the promises and everything else. The one thing I can promise you, you will leave a changed person. You will be a better human at the end of the week because you will have so much revealed to you. And heck, you could win. And if you win, I will be so insanely jealous, but I will be doing a happy dance around the kitchen. I cannot participate. But I will tell you, some of these prizes are big. You show up, you get a prize. That's why there's a limited number. And there are people, when they see the number, the professional hackathon devotees and groupies are going to come out of the woodwork, and you want your spot at the table. So if you and a couple of your friends have access to some large language models and are up for creating an AI app, we do have Web3 judges too. And you will be catching the eye of some very important people, very important companies, and you never know. You never know who's going to be in the room watching you, watching how you are reacting to scenarios, how you handle yourself under stress, and the pivoting of various, challenges and things like that. It really will be wonderful. So I invite each and every one of you, especially those in the listening audience that may or may not be taking the class, you are welcome to enroll. And I will tell you, there are a lot of free tools. We are going to have a pregame, and that is going to be important. It's basically front running. I will tell you that point blank. You'll know what it means to have a good presentation, what you need for documentation, Mintlify, by the way, what you're going to need for your presentation, and how you can lean into some of these tools to help you with those things that you might not be great at. Introverts don't like doing presentations, but AI can make you look like a superstar if you know what is expected from you as you go along. All right, so those are my closing notes. I hope I covered all of the check boxes. If I forgot something, please let me know. Cash Money Kev, what are your final thoughts? And Alisher, I just want to say thank you. I know how hard it is to teach this class today. I know what time you went to bed. I know exactly what you three were up to last night. And I will tell you, I have never been more proud. I can say that with 100%. I am so insanely proud of you. And I did hope that you woke up and you had food and you were ready, because this week is going to be incredible. And you three, man, I am so excited. You pull this off and we get to have another one. And I'm so excited about that. So I'm, clapping like a little baby seal. All right, Cash My Cap, take her away.
I'm pumped as well, Sarah, for the hackathon.